Should we not tidy it first?
Well, that's the thing. We're going to come in here, and it's been a little while since we made a video, so I thought I'll start one up in Sierra Nevada. As you can see, the cleaners have just been in. It's not usually this clean and tidy. The man behind the camera, Zachary Green, there he is. He's had the privilege of being my roommate for this training camp. And what can we say about this place? We're currently, 2,300 meters above sea level. Every day is a grind, it sucks. You can't breathe, every Ergo is hard work. We're up here for 2 weeks, but it's good. It gets you fit, it gets you healthy, and it's a great way to start. I say start the season, I guess end the year to seeing the new calendar year for racing. The best thing above everything else is the views. Come over here, Zach. Can you see the views?
I hadn't noticed that.
No, you hadn't noticed that, had you? There it is.
Not bad, eh?
You can see right down the mountain into Granada. Lovely. We're a little winter wonderland at the moment.
Lovely.
Very, very nice. And yeah, I think instead of boring everyone, we'll get straight to some training montage. So we're actually now back at Caversham. Behind me is our road lake. It's uncharacteristically flat today. Don't let that fool you. Normally it's white horses. We always make a joke about how our lake seems to attract all the wind. You can drive here and all the surrounding gravel pits are just flat, mill pond flat, mirror flat, and you arrive at lovely Caversham and it's white horses, and it can be quite miserable, but we're very lucky to have this facility. But anyway, this section of the video is to answer some questions about indoor rowing and the British Indoor Rowing Championships. So thank you to everybody that submitted your questions to me on Instagram. We had maybe 30-40 people responding. A lot of the questions are very similar. I'm not going to answer all of them, so hopefully the ones I picked to talk about will answer your questions as well. In a relay, what is the best way to sort of change partners, changeovers? Now, from my experience, my limited experience, I would always say that you're normally going to be in a team of 4 and you want at least 2 of those people in charge of the feet. When you're jumping on to start your section of the relay, you don't want to worry about putting your feet inside the straps. So undo the straps completely. The people holding your feet, when you jump on, they'll lift the straps and they'll put it down, or they'll grab hold of your toes. So your number one aim as the rower is to get on the machine and start pulling as hard and as fast as you can. Let everyone else worry about your feet. You'll have one person on standby. That standby person is going to jump on the seat once you get off, and there's always going to be two people holding your feet. There's been some really cool videos of people doing their changeovers where they're literally jumping down, they pick up the handle and they jump on the seat. I probably wouldn't advise that because there's a very high chance of injuring yourself. So, you know, sit down on the seat, put your feet in and just row. Let everyone else deal with everything else. Your job is to pull as hard as you can for the set number of strokes that you're on the machine for. What is my favorite ergo type? Static, dynamic, or the row perfect? I personally have never tried the row perfect. From looking at it and talking to people, I think I would enjoy the row perfect just because of the style that I tend to row. In the British team, we do a lot of work on the static machine. In the past, I've used the dynamic machine, which is another concept to ergo, but it's a bit like the row perfect where the fan moves. I found that very, very heavy and hard on my hamstrings when I first started using it, but I definitely felt the difference when I went onto the static. The static, I was a lot more dynamic on the front end, a lot more leg driven, so I can definitely see the positives on it. Personally, wouldn't choose to use them in a test scenario. I want to do all my tests on a static machine, so something that I have thought about in the past is maybe training on a row perfect or a dyno, and then when it comes to test day, jumping off and doing it all on the static. What sessions I would do leading into an event like the indoors, and it all very much depends on what distance you're covering. The core ones, I guess, would be the 500, the 2K. Those seem to be the most popular distances. Obviously the 500 is a lot shorter and you can go a lot harder. The 2K is sort of the benchmark test throughout rowing. In both of them, you want to get used to increasing your stroke rate, and you want to get a return in the high stroke rate in relation to your split. You don't want to rate too low, you don't want to rate too high, but if you push the rate up, you want to see your speed increase. You don't want to rate up and go slower. And it's all about lactate tolerance, I think. Teach your body to build lactate, but then teach your body to start recycling that lactate, get it through the muscles. Teach your mind how to deal with it. When that lactate comes in and it starts to hurt, understand and put yourself in those positions in training where you know that, okay, my lungs are burning, my heart is pounding, my legs are on fire, but I know that in 200 meters I'm going to be in my rhythm, I'm going to be striding out, my body's going to kick in, I'm going to start recycling that lactic acid, and it's not actually going to be too bad. You're always going to be redlining it, it's never going to be comfortable, but that original shock to the system in the first sort of 300 meters, that will subside, and that's when you want to find your rhythm, that's when you want to dig in hard. Best warm-up routine? You've got to pick one that works for you. I mean, people like Graham Benton, they'll do it in sort of 10 minutes. In the senior team, if we're doing it at Caversham, we'd usually do a session before we do the 2K. And then for me personally, I would start warming up 45 minutes before my ergo. Now, I won't be on the machine for the whole 45-minute duration. There'll be quite a lot of steady state. You know, I want to warm the muscles up gradually. I want to get the blood pumping around the system. Once I feel warm and I'm on my steady state rhythm and speeds, then I'll start incorporating some higher stroke rate bursts. We'll start maybe mid-rate 20s, and then I'll build up and up and up and up and up until I'm at max effort, max speed. But then I'll also mix it up where I'll do some high rate bursts, but very low power. So it's almost like ghost rowing with a high rate, just because I want to get my body firing. I want to start moving on the slide a lot quicker and a lot more explosive. And then after the back of that, then I'll come back down and I'll do something at sort of race rate and with some more power. And usually I would find after exaggerating that rate with no power, when I bring that rate down onto more of a race rate, the power comes a lot more naturally and the race rhythm feels a lot more sustainable. Do we have music playing when we're doing our 2K tests? At Caversham, I've never really thought about it. Some people wear headphones and they listen to their own music. Quite a few of us don't wear headphones. I don't really think about it. I don't think we do. I think if we wanted to, the coaches would play music, but to be honest, we know when our allotted time slot is, and all you're thinking about is that 2K test. I'm not really thinking about my playlist, I'm not thinking about the music. I'm sat on the Ergo, I'm warm, I'm ready to go. I'm thinking about what my split profile should be, where I need to dig in, you know, confidence in my own abilities. Whatever happens, just give it my all. You're not going to stop, you're never going to give up. If you're not going to get a personal best, you're going to get a very good workout from it, and you can always learn something from anything you do in rowing. If you're struggling, never stop. The worst thing you can do is stop. Even if you're slowing down 10-15 seconds on your split, if you finish, then you've done well, and you can come back, and like a couple of months later you could be in a really tough session, and you just think back, that session a couple of months ago I almost stopped, but I didn't. I was 15 seconds slower, but I kept going, and this is nothing compared to that. So I can definitely keep going now if I could keep going then. And it's the same in a 2K. If you're looking at your predicted score and you're 4 or 5 seconds off what you wanted, just keep going. Don't worry about it. You know, get the session done, build the lactate, get a workout out of it, learn something from it, and when it comes back to doing it again, because you will do it again, and they come round quicker than everyone likes, you can learn from that and you'll progress, and I can guarantee you'll do a lot better. Who is taking photos at the British Indoors? I don't know. I can only assume it'd be Naomi Baker. How many strokes until I settle, if I settle at all? I would usually start with 10 big ones, just really push the rate up, get the split down, and then I would settle onto my pace. But if I'm in a rhythm where it feels good and I feel explosive and everything just seems right, then I'll just leave it alone. But that's not all the time. You know, there has to be a time when you do settle, and a lot of the time I will settle. So that previous example doesn't happen all the time, very rare occurrences. But to answer your question, if I do settle, it's normally after about 10 strokes. So by 250, I want to start seeing the speeds I want to be producing through that middle 1,000 meters of the 2K. How do you take your mind off the pain? Now, this is a big one that a lot of people ask, and rowing is very mental. You can be the strongest guy in the gym, but if you're mentally weak, you're not going to win anything. And a 2K is no exception to that. It's going to suck. You've got to embrace that suck. You've got to dig deep and push hard. And the way I like to think about it, I mean, if you look back through my previous videos, I went up with Matt Pinson at Dorney Lakes a couple of years ago, and his coping mechanism in that third 500 is to break it down into sort of 10 to 15 stroke pieces and think about either the rate, your rhythm, your breathing, how loose you are, what split you're doing. And by the time you've thought about those different things for a set amount of strokes, that third 500 will be over. And that's quite a good thing that I like to think about. I don't want to think about how far is left. I mean, I have set markers to have the last 300 meters and the last 100 meters, but in that middle where it really starts to hurt, and it's normally that third 500 where your splits will start wavering, then I like to break it down and I like to think about, okay, good job, right, hold that rate, are the arms long, keep the arms long, keep the arms loose, am I jumping on the front end or am I still pushing well with my legs? What can I do better on the finish? Am I moving my hands fast enough? What rate am I on? Okay, cool, keep that ticking over. Just make it feel easy. And there's been plenty of times when I've come through the 1,000 meter marker and I've looked at my predicted score and it's not what I wanted. And I'm just thinking, how am I not getting this score? I'm working as hard as I can, but I'm just not there. And weirdly enough, when I stop worrying about it and I loosen off, I exhale and I'm relaxed, I'm like, whatever, just forget about it, just get the session done. Then I see that it starts progressing and it starts speeding up again, and it's because you're tense and you're wasting energy and you're not flowing. Rowing is all about flowing. You want length and power per stroke. You don't want to be tense, you don't want to be throwing your body around, you don't want to be pulling against the pushing of your legs. Let your legs push, hang off the handle with your body weight and accelerate every stroke. Keep that flywheel turning. Hopefully you've taken something away from my answers there. There are a bunch more questions to go through, but I really don't want to bore you. If you have any questions, please just send me a message for Instagram, and off the back of this, I'll try and answer them, or you can just put them in the comments below, and I will reply and respond. I hope you enjoyed the video. It has been a long time since I made a video. Got a little bit creative with the training montages. but I'll be at the British Indoors. Row Elite will be at the British Indoors. I hope to see you all there. I'll be in the team relay racing at 4 o'clock, and it will be great fun. I'll be racing with Cam Buckham, who will be yamming on it, and also Alan Sinclair, possibly Jacob Daunton, and also Matt Rossiter. So if you're still there at 4 o'clock, I'd love to meet you. I'll be there beforehand and after, but yeah, see you at the British Indoors.